Never thought I'd feel like this. I never thought I'd feel like this. Ooh, never thought I could be. I never thought I'd be on my shit, be on mine. I'm spending my time in love like I should. No more struggling for my blood. I never thought I'd feel like this. Feel like
trusted side. When I turn and look inside, there's nothing I can't find. In the silence of the night, when my demons come alive, I hear a voice disguised, telling me we're not alright. No evil eyes now. You're always on my mind. On my mind. You're always on my mind. On my mind. One taste, you can't get enough. One kiss, you feel my love. One taste, you can't get enough. One touch, you feel my love. One taste, you can't get enough. One kiss, you feel my love. One taste, you can't get enough. One touch, you feel my love. They say that love is blind, but I never trusted sight. When I turn and look inside, there's nothing I can't find. In the silence of the night,